What's up everybody, my name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today's Wednesday, August 12th. Now, today's dog video, we're going to be talking about how dog is still extending its lead against all these other blue chip meme coins. Now, you know that Bitcoin right now is still stuck at around $63,000. So how's dog been performing against Bitcoin going down and staying stagnant around that $63,000? Well, we always have to cover charting analysis on a daily basis because honestly, we need to see how dog is leading all the other blue chip meme coins. So we want to cover the weekly in the past 3 months and see where dog stands. So let's cover it in this video while looking at all the indicators as well. So smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. Please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. Dog right now is still at around 64 million market cap, so it's not really changed too much, and that's okay. But what we do need to pay attention to is if you look really closely, the MACD is sharing with us that the blue and the orange line are continuing to trend upwards into the buyer's market. That is very important because it looks like we are going to stay there for a little bit of time. We could see something very similar to this. Now, you may not see it happening right now, but this could be the early signals of dog going into this major pump of a dog price. But the thing is, that's not the highest. Actually, when we look back in history, these are actually the highest moments in dog's price, where dog hits 999 million market cap, dog hits 980 million market cap. Over here, dog hits 560 million market cap. So you can see that right now we're very, very early on in the stages of dog getting into that zone. So when you zoom in, it doesn't look like dog is pumping that much, or maybe there may not be as much of a pump. That's not true. There's actually absolutely a major pump waiting to happen. And we've been in this consolidation phase underneath the seller's mark for way too long. Now, if we look in the broader scale of things, we've been in the seller's market in terms of dominance since June of 2025. So yeah, currently right now, when you zoom in, it doesn't look like there's much upside for it, but there's absolutely more upside for it as well. We've been, again, like I said, the seller's market for way too long since June of 2025. But before we talk about more of the video, I want to play this quick commercial to talk about the dog effect.
Step into a world of Bitcoin innovation. Unleash the power of dog, now available on Lulu.
So if you haven't already, right now you can get a copy of the Dog Effect book from Lulu. You'll find the link in the descriptions below on YouTube, or you can find it on my X page. Make sure to buy your copy right away. But also, when you do receive your copy, make sure to leave a review. Now, it's very important to leave a 5-star review because I guarantee you Barnes & Nobles is going to look at the reviews of this specific book, and they're going to gauge not just the internal analytics and data that shows who's buying, how many orders have been placed, where are these orders been placed around the world. They're also going to look into the reviews. And right now we only have one person that's reviewed. So if you can, please take time to do this. Now, who's been actually ordering their books? We can see that a whole bunch of people not only ordered the books, but they have also received. We can see that Adam, Radis, Matthias, Mind, we also have John Wick, NateBit, Lil J, and also the Jab Lab have also been placing their orders for their books. Shout out to you all. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure to leave those reviews as soon as possible on Lulu. Now, just really quickly, I just want to recap on BIP 110. It's absolutely doing terribly. So you pretty much know about Roughnecks. They're like the only people that are mining anything within this whole BIP 110 hard fork, and it looks like it's going to be a hard fork. So what they're trying to do is create a proof of work chain, which is basically a hard fork. And this Roughnecks mining company, which is going through Ocean, on the second block, they decided that they were going to retire their company and that they weren't going to validate any blocks. Then all of a sudden, you started to see Luke and also Softfork Mechanic, aka Grassfed Bitcoin, start to lose their mind, and they were kind of saying negative things about who's not mining Bitcoin. So Roughneck said, you know, we're deciding to take the feedback from the community. We're going to start mining Bitcoin again. But here's the problem, is that right now they're literally burning hundreds of thousands on rented hash to manufacture a pulse in a dead project, which is a far greater scam than selling JPEGs on Bitcoin itself, which is absolutely a great point that CoinJoin Chris has pointed out. And what's really funny, remember Fred Krueger? He used to be a BIP 110 supporter. By the way, this guy's a huge grifter. I think he's a complete scammer himself. But he's even talking crap about Mechanic and Luke, which is kind of crazy because he was in support of their proposal. He says Mechanic was wrong. There was no game theory that would force miners to signal. What happened is this. a small signal percentage of nodes was in favor of BIP 110. No large mining pools, no large institutions. When the chain forked, there was no economic interest to mine the BIP 110 chain. Now, I could have just told you this right from the get-go. Yeah, absolutely. The fact that Fred Krueger is saying this afterwards just goes to show that this guy does not think for himself. He's an old baby boomer, and honestly, he's a grifter. He always will talk about something, change his title, change his comments and posts to fit whatever is going to garner him the most engagement. And the funny thing is, because BIP 10 didn't work out, he now is against it, which is kind of crazy. And now he's talking crap. Now, he said, faced with failure, Luke Dash Jr. and Soft Fork Mechanic, aka Grassfed Bitcoin, co-decided to fork Bitcoin with zero chance of success, RIP. This is the toxicity and mindset within the BIP 110 crowd. They cannot accept what's going on. They're literally 300 blocks behind based on the legacy Bitcoin blocks. They are absolutely wasting so much money, and there's going to be an airdrop of a worthless coin. And that's what's going on. And right now, Luke and everybody within the BIP 10 crowd are literally losing money. And you know what? They deserve to, because they didn't listen, they didn't have consensus, and they tried to spread fear and emotional outlash online. And that's what they deserve. Now, really quickly, let's talk about how DOG has been performing over the past week. So can you see that this blue line? That's DOG right now. So DOG is not only above everybody, but it's in the positive. It's actually up 6.9% in the past 7 days. Now, notice that everybody else is below the 0% level, which is right here. Most of them haven't really even gained that much. In fact, a lot of them have lost. Look at Bonk. Bonk lost 19.7% on screen. That's kind of crazy over the past week. DOG is the best performer and the best performing meme coin of the blue chips within the past week. Now let's look over the past 3 months. Where does DOG stand? DOG is still leading in terms of the massive gains over the past 3 months. This is why I pay attention to DOG. It doesn't, and the funny thing is, you have to keep in mind, DOG only has one tier 1 exchange, right? And a lot of people are probably in the comments saying, when are we going to get another tier 1 listing? Again, it's not based on me or Leonidas. All of you have to participate on getting a tier 1 listing. And how do you get a tier 1 listing? Well, you have to have DOG price pump. DOG has actually been performing quite well with just one tier 1 exchange. And then there's like BitGet, Gate.io, MEXC. They don't have as much trading volume. And as we know, some of these other exchanges, they list a ton of coins. It doesn't mean that more listings equals price go up. It just means that there's more market makers that have access to liquidate your asset. So if you notice, every coin that you see on your screen besides DOG has multiple tier 1 centralized exchange listings, yet they're all still pretty down. And that just goes to show that tier 1 centralized exchange listings don't promise anything. If anything, it allows for these exchanges to sell your asset when the market is not in favor, when Bitcoin is down almost close to 50%. So when Bitcoin goes back up, all these coins are going to go back up along with DOG, but I definitely think that DOG will decouple from that. I actually think DOG can decouple away from Bitcoin, because DOG has outperformed Bitcoin twice already. It's decoupled away from Bitcoin twice and has outperformed Bitcoin twice in history. And that's what's great. DOG is priced in Satoshis. It's not priced in USD. It's priced in Bitcoin. So when DOG outperforms Bitcoin, that means you actually have more Bitcoin that you have in your portfolio by just holding DOG. And then you can sell any portions of your DOG as the price goes up in small increments of like 10% here, 10% there, and you actually get more Bitcoin. And it doesn't actually hurt the DOG price. It just helps DOG gain more momentum by having more people funnel in from different exchanges, but also different holders. Eventually, DOG is going to pump, and no one's really paying attention right now, which is actually great. That's the 99% that are watching from the sidelines or have no idea what DOG is. Now, I do want to remind everybody that the number of nodes running DOG mode will absolutely surpass BIP 110. And it's ultimately going to show the world what true Bitcoin consensus looks like. So I want you to bookmark this. So I just want you to know that I have been in conversation with Leonidas regarding DOG mode. And all I can say is make sure to get yourself ready and educated about running nodes. And I guarantee you, the more people that are going to be running nodes for DOG mode is absolutely going to surpass BIP 110. Why? Because BIP 110 people are all about being emotional and spreading misinformation. And they think that nodes are going to outdo miners. But here's the thing. We're not going to think that way. Nodes are actually going to contribute more to miners. Meaning because we're going to have nodes running between different DOG holders around the world, that means that DOG contributing to transaction fees on the Bitcoin network are actually going to help miners. And we're actually going to embrace miners. And that's why we have to separate ourselves from Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Knots, which is completely something different. Having your own node contributes to DOG mode, and we're going to show BIP 110 how it's really done. This is what gets me really excited, is that we are the ones that are actually contributing the most to Bitcoin, and we're going to show the world how Bitcoin actually needs the dog army. And that's what's absolutely amazing. And instead of people talking negatively about dog, they're going to ask themselves and write reports on Bitcoin Magazine, Crypto Quant, CoinGlass. They're all going to say, what is this new dog mode? Isn't that going to be exciting? And we're going to embrace and be positive during this whole experience. And that's why we're going to be setting a new standard for monetary transactions on the Bitcoin network through dog. Now let's look into charting and analysis. What have you noticed? So yesterday, remember, we talked about how this gap between the 50-day and the 200-day moving average line was 23%. Guess where it is right now? It's 22.52%, ladies and gentlemen. Why is that good news? It's because we've even closed a further gap than what we saw back over here on June of 2026, which is the goal that we wanted to have. That's how much these two moving average lines are getting closer and closer together. And as you can see, just based really closely, you can see that there's a curve in the 50-day moving average line going upwards, and the dip of the 200-day moving average line is staggeringly going downwards. I wanted to get to this purple line and further, but the purple line is the near level that I want the 200-day moving average to get to. And as I said before, when we look in terms of the RSI, it's not about the purple line, it's about the yellow line. And the purple line not only went down, it's kind of going right back up. But the yellow line still has a lot more leeway, a lot more room to grow to get up to this point, which is where we kind of see an oversold territory, and that's completely okay. But that to me shares with me that we could potentially get above 700 million market cap. I'm hoping that this could happen by September. So keep that in mind. Anything can happen really quickly. This space is all crazy. Anything can happen. So ladies and gentlemen, that's how you know that dog has extended its lead across all these blue chip meme coins. It's the leader. And that's why we have to cover these things. Dog Effect book is really one of the things that I'm very proud of, and that's why I want you to get your copy right now. And not only that, make sure to leave a review, a very positive review on the very bottom. It would really help garner more attention around this. I want this in every library, every bookstore, and even in Barnes & Nobles. So I just wanted to quickly thank all of our supporters for supporting this channel, all of our donors. Because of you, we are able to make dog videos on a daily basis. So let's go and smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding Dog and Moon. Till then, see you guys girls next time.